The Reds have been handed a lot of injuries this season, but it is how they will deal with the injury to Elly De La Cruz that will define 2026.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi there, welcome in. I'm Stephen Offenbaker. He's Jeff Carr. Thanks for being an everydayer, and thanks for helping making Locked On the #1 sports podcasting network in all the land. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions do apply. A little bit later in today's show, we are going to be singing the praises and thanking the good fortunes of the baseball gods for giving us JJ Bleday, because he is probably the bright spot of the team right now, given the Elly De La Cruz injury. The bullpen, Jeff, we're going to talk about that a little bit later today as well. It's a mess. And if the actual segment is as heated as show prep was, it's going to make for great podcasting, because there's a lot to talk about with this bullpen, and you and I don't agree on any of it, I don't think. And where we will begin is with the fact that Elly, Mr. 162, is injured. He had to leave the game yesterday with a hamstring tweak, a hamstring owie. I don't know what we're calling it. We're going to hear more about that from the Reds today. But I have strong opinions about players and hamstrings, and that is where we are going to begin as we talk about Elly De La Cruz, Jeff, because I look at this and I don't care if Elly shows up at the ballpark today and says, I'm good, I feel nothing, everything's great. He needs a 10-day IL stint right now. Do not leave it up to him. Do not take his opinion into account. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Elly De La Cruz should not play for the next 10 days. One examples of why: see Pagan, Emilio, see India, Jonathan. Do not mess around with hamstrings. Shut him down. Shut him down right now. I would rather go 10 games without Elly De La Cruz than 10 weeks.
This franchise should have so much experience with dealing with hamstring injuries. I mean, we all have PTSD remembering Ken Griffey Jr.'s hamstring injuries, even going that far back. And like you said, there's even recent history to back all of this up. You have got to just shut him down for a little bit, because they didn't do this last year, where it was clear. It wasn't quite as clear as this, where he hits a clear double and does not even try for a double. And he might have even had a triple, depending on how the ball bounced and how quickly his jump was, which it looked like he might be trying to break for third base at that point. And then all of a sudden it just felt something and he held up. And he said after the game, he was just like, I stopped because I felt a tweak, and I felt like if I stopped at that moment, it wouldn't be near as bad as if I tried to press through that. And that's admirable. That's great. And they're going to get an MRI on Monday morning, and that's admirable, and that's great. But I'm with you. Like, I think at this point, the very least is that he shouldn't play at all in the Kansas City series. Like, all 3 games. Set him down. I never advocate for the Reds to play shorthanded, but I'll advocate for this, because they need to protect Elly De La Cruz from himself. He is an absolute gift of an athlete to this organization. But the thing about him is he does not want to come off the field unless people are telling him he cannot play. And this is the exact scenario in which the front office, the manager, his coaches, his teammates, in fact, I don't know, like maybe even Bob and Phil should probably tell him not to play. Like at this point, watching what happened on Sunday afternoon, I've never seen Elly stop like he did, because it was a clear extra base hit. And by the time he got to first base, he was not right. And I'm very glad that the trainers pulled him out of this, because he would have stayed in had they asked him if he could. And he said, yeah, I think I can. So I'm really glad that they did this, but I agree with you. There's got to be some element of shutting Elly down. At the very least, he's not going to be able to match wits with Bobby Witt.
So I think I want to push back a little bit with something you just said. No, I don't want him to just miss the Kansas City series. I want them to put him on the injured list. And here's why. I do not want there to be any temptation to say, oh, Elly, we really need a bat right here. Do you think you could just bat? Could we use you off the bench? None of that. Put him on the injured list. remove that temptation from Terry Francona, remove that temptation from Elly De La Cruz, because you don't think Elly De La Cruz would be in Tito's ear in the bottom of the 8th inning with a runner on second and the Reds are down by a run. You don't think Elly would be in Tito's ear?
Sure.
Here's the other piece, Jeff. It's time to bring up Edwin Arroyo. Put Elly on the 10-day injured list, bring up Edwin Arroyo, put him in the lineup, and let's go for the next 10 days and see what we're dealing with. And then you can make some decisions about Matt McLain and others when Elly comes off the injured list. I think this is the time. This is the smart move. This is the move to make sure guys are healthy for the long term of the season, more so than just the next 3 games, the next 6 games, the next week. Make the moves, do the right thing. Don't play shorthanded. Don't have temptation for Tito there. Sit Elly down, shut Elly down, protect that hamstring so that we can move forward in a week or so.
Elly really loves playing, and he was asked multiple times during the offseason by different people, about the streak and about not taking a day off and all this other stuff. And you can tell that he prides himself in doing that. But I still hold to something that Joey Votto has told multiple people at different times through his career, in that one of his first major injuries really taught him that taking a day off isn't such a bad thing. Like, to take care of yourself, to make sure that you're healthy for the long haul. It's not that you manage things, it's that you can rest things and you can easily play longer because you took one day off here and there. And I think that could be something that Elly learns through all of this, because as you're getting through your career in your early stages, you feel invincible. And there's so much about Elly De La Cruz that makes him look like a superhero. And so he probably buys into that and says, I don't want to take a day off because I want to keep up this superhero visage. And I think you're right. I think like setting him down for a good long while, not a good long while, but at least like a 10-day IL stint.
It's 10 days. 10 days. It's like,
but get Arroyo up here.
9 games.
Yeah.
It's time.
Because I think too, like the Arroyo part of this is that it's high time that Matt McLain feels some kind of pressure a little bit. And maybe he feels plenty of pressure already, but like in a real sense, who is pushing him out of the lineup right now? Like, everyone else kind of has their role. And so it's really hard to see a lineup that you push Matt McLain out of. And it also doesn't include TJ Friedel. And it also doesn't include like other guys that we're kind of worried about as far as lineup detriments. So if you bring up Edwin Arroyo and he continues some version of how well he is hitting in AAA, it's not going to be the same thing, but it'll be, something fun if he keeps that up. Then we really are talking about the lineup starting to fill the holes that it needs to fill. And this is a good time to look at that.
Right. By bringing Edwin Arroyo up now, by doing this and protecting Elly and bringing Edwin Arroyo up now, there's no negative connotations to this. There is no, we bench somebody. There is no, Matt, we're sending you down. There's none of that. Right now, it's an emergency fill-in. We're bringing you up here, Edwin. You're going to play for the next 10 days. Go out there, do your thing. We're going to get Elly back. We'll make some decisions from there. Everybody gets kind of do their thing, and there's no, I'm playing for a job, I'm stealing a job, I'm taking somebody's job, I'm pushing out a clubhouse favorite to take his job. There's none of that. It kind of lets everybody take a breath, but also lets us see, is Edwin Arroyo really ready to come to the next level? What's going to happen as he transitions and faces some major league pitchers? Let's see without all those other side stories and all of those column inches that are going to be filled by people talking about the impacts on the clubhouse and how do the players feel about their favorite guy, Matt McLain, being displaced. Like, we eliminate all that. Just get Edwin Arroyo up here.
And I think too, like, that's how the Reds kind of endure this. Look, Edwin Arroyo is not going to replace the production that Elly De La Cruz has, but you know what? Neither's anybody else, because he's the best hitter on the team right now. And so you got to hope that some other performances can kind of buoy this a little bit, but you're not going to replace him one for one. It's going to have to be a group effort. We saw it a little bit on Sunday. There was some good performances from some guys in the lineup, and we'll talk about the JJ Bleday of it all a little bit later on in the show. But as it stands, the lineup is the only thing that is standing between the Reds and oblivion. I'm just going to say oblivion, because right now the pitching staff, it's limping. And the biggest reason why is the bullpen has just become an absolute disaster through injuries. The next time that you are heading down to the ballpark, Game Time should be the way that you get in the gates, because Game Time is the best way to go to any game, whether you're talking about Reds or FC Cincinnati, maybe you're looking ahead to the Bengals season, or whatever it is that you're doing. Game Time has you covered. And as far as Red season goes, pretty much every game I go to, I use Game Time, because all you have to do, you go down to the banks, you hang out for a bit, you wait till you get closer to first pitch, boom, you check out the tickets and the deals that you can get over on Game Time, because they've got different zone deals, they've got last minute deals, they've got last call deals, all these great deals to help you get into the ballpark and watch your favorite team. Plus, if you're on the road, they help you see your view from your seat at an unfamiliar place. The easiest way to buy tickets to your next event. Check out the Game Time app today. Download it, create an account, and use the promo code Locked On to get $20 off your first purchase. Again, download the Game Time app today, create an account, and the promo code, that's LOCKEDON, is going to get you $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Thanks for being a part of Locked On Reds today and every day. If you're an everydayer, shout out to you. Thanks for helping us make Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in all the land. Take your everydayerness up a notch. Join the Locked On Reds Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonreds.supercast.com. It's $5 a month or $50 for the whole year. Ad-free fee, group chat on Discord, and even access to a Locked On store. So much more. Follow the link in the description below. All right, Steve, the concern that we have over the Elly De La Cruz injury was really like the awful cherry on top that nobody wanted on this Sunday of disaster that this entire weekend has become because of injuries. Pierce Johnson, he's on the injured list with elbow inflammation. And I kept hearing people say, well, he might have avoided something major. The last time I checked, elbow inflammation on a pitcher is not minor. Then you also had Graham Ashcraft hitting the IL with a UCL sprain for the 60-day IL. Something tells me he's waiting on a second opinion. We might be hearing the dreaded TJ in his future. I hate all of that. And that's already on top of the fact that the starting rotation is hurt. This pitching staff is decimated. And so now we've got guys like Yunior, Marte, and Lyon, Richardson manning the bullpen. And Terry Francona is pulling them up in high leverage situations. Steve, we are absolutely losing our minds right now. Can starting pitchers all go 9 innings? Let's just everybody goes 9 innings. Whatever you give up, you give up. Let's go back to like the 1940s. Everybody throws a complete game, full stop.
Oh, that might be where we're heading because things are bad. To recap, let's talk about what that bullpen looks like right now. Tony Santillan, TJ Antone, Caleb Ferguson, Brock Burke, Sam Maul, Zach Maxwell, Yunior, Marte, Lyon, Richardson. Those are your 8 relievers. Your guy that should be the best of the back end, your closer fill-in, Tony Santillan, I think I'm ready to call that done. He's going to have to.
He ain't the same dude.
He is not the same guy. So that really means that right now, Caleb Ferguson is your best guy in the back of that bullpen, and Sam Maul are your best 2 guys in the back end of that bullpen. And that is not where this group started in April. That is not where things started.
Because Brock Burke's your 3rd best. Yeah.
Yeah. And Brock Burke is your 3rd guy. So it is not pretty right now. You couple that with the fact that Brady Singer apparently has forgotten how to pitch. He can't be a starting pitcher anymore right now. We're running Chris Paddock out there while we wait for some help to show up. Really, the only true bright spot in this rotation is Chase Burns. Andrew Abbott is moving that direction, but Chase Burns has been the only consistent bright spot.
Nick Lodolo look good again.
Well, Lodolo, I don't know. Lodolo looks to me like we say he looks good, and he looked good in that start yesterday, right? I mean, we say 6 2/3, longest outing of the year, but 3 runs on 5 hits. He walked 4 guys. That's not the Nick Lodolo that we have expected and that we counted on. That is a middle of the road Nick Lodolo. That's a guy that can't throw the OG back foot breaker when he needs to. And that's the difference between really great Nick Lodolo competing to be a number 1 or number 2 guy in a rotation and being, it's Nick Lodolo. He's a number 3 and number 4 guy, depending on who else is healthy in this rotation. So you look all over this this pitching staff as a whole. You look all over it, and it is nowhere. It doesn't even resemble the staff that we talked about coming out of Goodyear that we really were excited about and we really thought was a strength of this team. You talk about the pitching staff is limping, Jeff. They're not limping. They're not even upright. This team is scratching and clawing and crawling right now through the season. And if they don't make some wholesale changes and bring in some arms for some improvement, they've got to make some kind of a move, because if they continue to roll with this group, 6 games is going to turn into 10 real quick, and I don't know that they can recover from that.
Yeah, but depending on what point in the day on Monday you're listening to this, hopefully the Reds have made a move, or there's at least rumors of them being close to making a move, because this is the day that a veteran relief pitcher who is in an organization who might still be in AAA, having not been called up yet this season by that organization, can opt out of his contract and become a free agent, and other teams can go look for him. The guy that I'm thinking of here is Tommy Kahnle, a longtime New York Yankee relief pitcher. He pitched for the Tigers last season, albeit not the most amazing numbers. He had a 7.1 strikeouts per 9 compared to a 4.1 walks per 9. That's not great, but it's pitched in over 60 ball games, and that's probably still like second or third best relief pitcher on the staff right now. Like, that's how bad we're talking about this situation out in the bullpen, Steve. Because when we're running out Yunior Marte in a 1-run ball game, and I get it, they were trailing by 1 run, they weren't leading.
It was the 6th inning. Where do you want to pitch him? You've got 8 arms. You've got 8 arms available to you in that bullpen. Terry Francona has to use the 8 arms that Nick Krog gives him. Terry Francona said, if they're down there, they're going to pitch. Yunior Marte is down there. It was the 6th inning. That's exactly where you use a guy like that. Your 6th inning guys are Yunior Marte,
16th inning.
Yunior Marte, and Zach Maxwell. They're your 6th inning guys. They're your low leverage, early in the game bullpen guys, because you got to save Sam Maul, and you got to save Caleb Ferguson, and you got to save Brock Burke for later in the game.
But if you got to save Caleb Ferguson, why did he pitch in the 6th inning then, whenever everything went to crap because of Yunior Marte?
That's the move. That's the move you should be questioning, not when they were using.
Why didn't he come out first?
Marte. That's the question that you should be asking. If you're going to use him at all, you use him. But that is the appropriate usage of a guy like Yunior Marte. 6th inning, early in a game, so that if it does go sideways, and it did, you might still have some time to dig out of it. If that's the arm that Nick Krog's giving you, that's where you pitch that arm.
And I feel like that was the game. Like, they were close-ish on Saturday as well, and then they brought in Lyon Richardson, and close-ish became not. But at the same time, at that point, you had already used so many guys on Friday night, and you knew you had Sunday coming, so you had to win one of these games. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it just kind of feels to me like Terry Francona is grasping at straws right now. And I get it. Like, I think grasping at straws is what the Reds bullpen is at the moment. You're just kind of – it's all hope. It's not even like, we feel good about this. How did we get here from April? In April, we felt so good about everything, and now everybody's hurt, and who isn't hurt isn't good. And I'm just it's driving me crazy watching this.
Buddy, you put a post on Twitter X that said we're just like this close to Terry Francona pointing to me to come pitch, and I'm on a throwing program. I'm getting there, but you're not that far off. They have already got a guy that they signed off the street basically in the starting rotation right now. It is not that far out of the realm of possibility they're going to do the same thing for this bullpen. They have got to make a move. They have got to go get an arm with some kind of track record. I like the idea of going and getting your guy from the Red Sox there. Anybody else, because there's nobody in Louisville. There's nobody in Louisville to bring up to have a reasonable expectation to come up here and get any outs. They have got to go get somebody.
And I definitely don't want it to be Franco. I want them to stretch him out, be a starting pitcher. Like, I don't even know that he's much of a value as a relief pitcher. I think he's going to provide the Reds much more value as a starter. And that's why I want him to continue to get stretched out. The other guy that I'm thinking of, and I'm blanking on his name because they had him in AAA for a brief moment, and then he opted out of his deal. He's a veteran relief guy, a lefty. He pitched with the Cubs a little bit and Padres a little bit, and I'm blanking on his name. I should have looked it up. But he's a free
agent. Let me ask
you
this. There's reports out of Northern California that the San Francisco Giants are this close to blowing it up. You know, they're 15 games out of first place. They've got a lot of money on the books, and that they're this close to blowing it up. Nick Cross should be making a phone call. Get a reliever or two from the Giants who are looking to get some payroll off the books. They're probably the first team that's going to wave the white flag this year and declare themselves a non-contender. Go make a deal.
While you're at it, call Boston. And not just for the Tom Lee Canley of it all, but former friend Aroldis Chapman. Let's
bring him in. Go
for it.
Red
Sox won for him. At this point, it feels like the Reds are this close to falling off the edge here. And I hate to say that in May. I'm not, or now June 1st. I'm not that guy that loves to do this, but based on the injuries that they are enduring, based on the guys they've already lost, and based on the guys that we are currently watching who are healthy, we are going to get to the point that when the Reds call the bullpen, the opposing team is happy.
Yep.
And that has to change yesterday.
Everybody's using that narrative that we like to use sometimes when you're facing a team that's got a struggling bullpen and a really great starting pitcher. You don't think that everybody's saying, Chase Burns is going today. All we got to do is stay in the game through 6.
Yep.
We got to stay in the game through 6, make him throw a lot of pitches, because once we get to this bullpen, we're going to cook. That's what everybody's saying.
100%. And they Nick Kral's got to be aggressive with this. He's got to make some moves because we cannot keep the bullpen as is.
All right, you're depressing me. Let's talk about something fun, and that something fun is the all-star season that JJ Bleday is putting up. If you can't watch us here on YouTube, we are available on every single audio podcasting platform that's out there. If we're not on one and you need us to be there, message Jeff. He can probably make that happen for you. That's also where the Everydayer Club lives. Ad-free Locked On Reds. Link for that is down in the show description. $5 a month, $50 a year. All right. With Elly out of this lineup, the next brightest spot, the biggest producer in this lineup right now, who had JJ Bleday on your bingo card, but that is where we are. He is currently hitting over 300 for those that still love the batting average stat. JJ Bleday is over 300. Here's the one that I like. His OPS is still greater than 1 at 1.040. And now we have a pretty decent sample size. I think he's figured some things out, and he is looking really, really good, and probably is the lone bright spot of the things that Nick Kral's done this year.
It's one of those things that, yes, I want to say I give Nick Krall a little bit of credit for. This guy also wasn't on the opening day roster. How'd that work? Because here in the month of May, he has been ridiculously good. And the crazy part about all of this, Steve, is that, yes, he's hitting over 300. Right now, his OPS plus, his WRC plus, whatever you want to look at, it's crazy high. His WRC plus says he is 77% above league average, 177 right now. The crazy part about all of this, his batting average on balls in play is right at league average. It's not as if he's getting crazy lucky. It's not as if these are unbelievable stats that are just on such a plane of existence. You think that it's going to come crashing down. He's only striking out 17% of the time. All of this is looking very real. I don't know if he can keep it up over 300 over the year, but we're probably seeing more of the 2024 version. Remember when the Reds acquired JJ Bleday and it was boy, look at the back of his baseball card. It's not that impressive, except for the year 2024. I think somehow they've unlocked something with JJ Bleday that he is hitting much more like his 2024 version than he is any other year. And I know that he had this great segment on the MLB Network show. I'm blanking on which one it was, but he really explained some of the differences in his swing, and he's found what made him successful 2 years ago, and he's really highlighting that with every single at bat. Like I was, our friend, and he's one of our hosts over at MLB Game Night, Lindsey Crosby. He also does a lot of Braves content. He's part of our Braves postcast. He was advocating with some other Braves fans on Twitter to just walk JJ Bleday every time. See, that's what we were talking about Ronald Acuna for, is just to walk him every time he steps up to bat. Braves fans wanted to walk JJ Bleday.
I'll tell you one of the biggest differences, too, that we should talk about with JJ Bleday, that he is truly presenting himself as a viable everyday player right now versus a platoon player. You look at his splits for this season and his games against left-handed pitching. Now, it is a much smaller sample size. We're talking about 34 plate appearances. But in those 34 plate appearances, Jeff, left-handed batter on left-handed pitcher, 345, 412, 586. That's nice. His slash line this season. Now, that's well above what he has done for his career, and I think it's leading to some of his other counting stats looking like they're looking. And as long as that continues, as long as he can continue to do that, keep running him out there every day. I'm really just impressed with what he's been able to put together so far.
He is so, Elly and Sal Stewart are both tied for the team lead in homers. JJ Bleday is right behind them. They have 12. He has 9. He has played far less than they have, half the number of at-bats that Sal has, and he only has 3 less home runs. Like, definitely play him every day. There is absolutely no excuse to take him out of this lineup. And, Steve, I think your all-star argument has a little bit of weight to it. I don't necessarily know that he gets voted in by the fans, but he might get voted in by the coaches and players and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to take somebody, and God help us, there's no pitchers to take, really.
Yeah,
I mean, if they're going to want Chase Burns, but I wouldn't let Chase Burns go anywhere near that game this year, given what else has gone on. Yeah. Just sit it down, shut it down. You're not pitching in the All-Star game. That would be,
guys on a pitch count should not be in the All-Star game.
I mean, I get that everybody's going to want to see Chase Burns there.
Nice
Terry Francona is not going to want to take that away from him, but this pitching staff cannot afford for Chase Burns to go and mess around with the All-Star game.
They could do because there's guys that make the All-Star game but don't pitch in it. They could do that thing where like he pitches like 2 or 3 days before the game, and so it's like
throw him the last. Pitch him the last game of the first half. Sorry, he can't do it. It's not going to be done.
But coming back to the JJ Bleday of it all, like I think it's intriguing because he's only signed for 1 season here. Like it's 1 month. Aristides Aquino had a good month. Resigns had a good month. There's a lot of names on here that we can be like, all right, it's a good month. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. But there's something about JJ Bleday that feels like there's staying power here. I think part of it is he's not a rookie and he's done this before. But the other part of this, Steve, is like there's nobody in this outfield that I trust more. And certainly there's no reason to take him out of this. Are we looking at a multi-year guy here?
This is the danger. You could go to him with an extension now. That's probably premature. If you wait for it to not be premature, he probably is going to want to hit the open market and see what he can get. I feel like the answer is probably no. Like, should he be? Maybe. Should they consider a multi-year deal? Maybe. I don't think that's going to happen, especially given what's going to go on with all the craziness of the CBA. I think he'll be a one and done here in the city of Cincinnati.
I did see, though, he ended the month with more extra base hits than Tyler Stevenson or Matt McClain had total hits. He just absolutely on fire in the month of May. I really hope that we see more of that as the season goes along because, I mean, obviously in the short term with Elly De La Cruz being out, this lineup is going to need other people to step up because he was the dude that got everything going, at least according to Fangraphs, far and away the leader in wins above replacement. And then when you looked at Baseball Reference, they gave Chase Burns a little bit more. For some reason, Fangraphs is a little bit hard on Chase Burns when it comes to wins above replacement. Baseball Reference, not so much. But Elly De La Cruz far and away the team leader in WAR right now. So someone else is going to have to step up. And is that going to be a rotating cast of characters? Like right now, JJ Bleday and Nathaniel Lowe are hot. Is that going to stay that way? Spencer Steer's right behind him, at least on the offensive side of things. His defense is always going to hold him back from having a high wins above replacement total. And then, surprisingly, you have Blake Dunn kind of creeping up there. He's got 126 WRC plus right now. Like, there's got to be some dudes figure this out a little bit more. Is it going to be Matt McClain? I don't think so. I think JJ Bleday's got to take that mantle up, man.
I would love for it to be Matt McClain, but you're right. I think things just are what they are right now, and it's really just completely disappointing. But this I know for sure. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've clicked that notification bell, because we're going to keep bringing you all of the information about what's going on with this team. Hopefully, we've got some moves to talk about on tomorrow's show, that they will have done something. Maybe we will be discussing the arrival of Edwin Arroyo. We just don't know, but hopefully something's going to be done to protect Elly, to bolster this bullpen, to keep the starting pitchers from being any more damaged than they already are. There's a lot to watch for, folks, and we will keep you covered with all of that information. For the audio folks, thanks for making us your first listen. Now go make the Locked On MLB channel your second, third, and fourth listens. 3 shows cooking over there for you. Sully's got you covered from a national perspective with Major League Baseball. Former Reds reliever Mike Stanton is telling you all about Major League Baseball from a retired player's perspective. And the folks over at MLB Game Night are watching every single game, every single night, so that you don't have to. For the video folks, we're going to send you over to Locked On's first ever 24/7 national YouTube channel, where all of the experts of the Locked On Network are talking ball 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to keep you in the know. We will be back in your feed tomorrow, gathering up all the news, the notes, the rumors, the reports, and the information to keep you locked on Reds every single day.
I'm going to need a beverage sponsor to keep watching this bullpen.
Oh, my God.
Ugh.
This team makes me want to drink.